So today we're going to walk through using Bacalhau on Azure against SQLite. To begin with, we have already installed a number of machines on Azure, and we're going to list all those machines right now. And you can see what we've done here is that we have a list of regions that we have deployed a individual VM, one per region. You can see here, in fact, we have 36 different regions. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the details of any one VM just so you can see what's going on. I've written a very simple script to go through and execute inside a single region and get the IP address and so on. Here you can see we're executing against that inside this particular resource group. And we get the details there. We're going to then go and look at some of the files inside that. In this case, we are running a SQLite sensor collector, and we're simulating collecting a bunch of temperature and humidity information. Here, if I go and look at the specific directory, we can see there's a SQLite database running and information is being written to it. Now that's great, but like many deployments out there, people don't want to open up those files for public access. And so you have to figure out a way to execute jobs on the machine itself. That's where Bacalhau comes in. Now, each of these 36 resource groups, we've deployed a single VM, and inside that VM, we have deployed a Bacalhau agent. So what I'm able to do now is query against the network as a whole. And in this case, I will target a specific region on Azure that I have named. And on that machine, I will execute a simple hello world. France Central. Presto. Now what it's doing is it's going out to the Bacalhau network, it's finding a machine that matches this particular label, and it's executing this job against it. And if I go and look at that particular job, you can see here it targeted region equals France Central, and here you can see it executed in the standard out. That's okay. What happens if I want to execute on every node in the entire Bacalhau network? Well, in this case, I can do it using concurrency. I'm going to do docker run, and I'll do concurrency equals 36, one for each of the regions, and I'll do my same hello world. Hello, everybody. And now it's going out to every machine on the Bacalhau network, executing them all, in this case in 1.8 seconds. It went through and executed a new job on every single machine. And I can see those here. You can see many of these have been executed. If I grep against that and see how many times it's been executed, you can see it's been executed 37 times. Actually, that's 36, one for the header line. So now that's great. We're off to a good start, but what we started out this with was trying to edit and look at the details of our SQLite database. So the first thing I want to do is, as an end user, I might know this, but just to show you how this might work in production where I don't specifically know the schema, I'm going to query against that database the specific schema of that SQLite file. In this case, we've written a very simple container and published it to do querying against a SQLite database. We mount in the file, which happens to be in the database directory on the server, and then we execute this script, and from that we'll get a bunch of the table information. We are looking for specifically for what the various columns were. And you can see all the columns here, ID, lat, long, date, and so on. Well, good. We're off to a good start here. Let's start doing some real work. So the first thing I want to do is, for example, let's say I want to get in the north central zone. I want to get all of the sensor data that has been uploaded from there. This is, in addition to executing on the command line, I can execute via a standard YAML script. So in order to do that, it's very straightforward. I just execute I cat that YAML script into Bacalhau and hit create. And in just a few seconds, it goes through, it schedules the job to that particular machine, and then runs against that. And you can see here, I'm able to describe all of the various information. It's been truncated because what I want to do is I want to download all of that information, not just see it in my standard out. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to get the results. And this will just take a second, but quickly it will download it to my local machine. And after a few seconds, it has downloaded it. I'm going to go into my job ID folder, and I can see the standard out there. And in it, you can see many, many thousands of sensor data has been uploaded to that, and I was able to download them all. Again, without logging into the machine at all. So again, that's very straightforward. But what if we want to do something more advanced? For example, let's say instead of querying a single machine, I want to query the entire network. You can see here I can do that, just do concurrency against the entire network. And what I want to do is spit out all the lats and longs where the humidity was over 93. We'll do that here by, instead of catting that other one, we'll cat that multi-zone one, and again, execute it against the entire network with that single command. And now it's reaching out to every node on the network to execute and query just for those particular elements against that local SQLite. Terrific. And so now it's done. And very quickly, you can see here, for each one, I have selected a sub-selection of the overall images, or excuse me, of the overall sensor readings, all of which are above 93. And you can execute any arbitrary query in that way. So I think you can see end-to-end, Bacalhau provides a rich cross-zone, cross-region deployment network where you are able to take advantage of the local SQLite databases that you are running, but still have visibility into your entire network through the power of something as simple as Python.